Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So Raids and Mythic Plus have just opened and we're going to go through the gearing process in Legion now that has actually happened. I'm going to boil it down into what you pretty much need to do weekly, so hopefully this guide will be quite quick and easy. First, one thing that you might not know is that Seals of Broken Fate are now available on live servers. Purchase these from Archmage Lantalok in Dalaran. These are the bonus rolls for Legion, so definitely something that you want to have. You can purchase 3 per week, and additionally some Order Hall missions do drop these seals, and there is an Order Hall upgrade that gives you a free one every week. Generally, you want to save these for the bosses that have the most upgrades for you. With that covered, let's go into the actual gearing. So, do world bosses at the start of the week. They are now activated on live. You will see a weekly world quest on the map, and don't be worried if the world quest doesn't give any loot, because the actual bosses themselves have their own loot tables. Next, you want to do Mythic Plus as much as you can. The main thing to do is just to try to get to as high a level as possible in a given week for the Order Hall chest. Now, it's a pretty in-depth topic, and I have a full video detailing this gearing process on the channel, so check that out. But suffice to say, just try to get the highest Mythic Plus that you possibly can. That gear scales from a base item level starting off at 840 all the way up to 865 from the dungeon drops / 880 from the chest that you get in your class order hall at the start of the next week. Now, of course, not everyone can do Mythic Plus all of the time. That's totally fine. There's also access to normal raids on the 20th of September, and Raid Finder access begins the week after that. Raid Finder drops 835 gear, and then the normal modes drop 850. And do bear in mind, for this entire video, I'm talking about the base item level. Everything can Warforge. Now, since you can see that normal drops 850, well, players who right now are in and around iLvl 840 to 850 are actually perfectly geared to start running heroic raids, which drop a base iLvl of 865. Of course, we are talking about the base item levels here. That could be a lot higher. Some players with roughly iLvl 840 to 850 will still see some value in progressing through a bunch of normal, sort of easier, normal mode bosses first, in the hopes of having that item level 850 gear Titan forging up, so that they can basically get a bit of a leg up in their week 1 heroic attempts. Anyway, assuming you're going right into this with iLvl 840-ish, hopefully above, gear, you are perfectly ready, in my opinion, to start heading straight into Mythic Plus and heroic raiding, assuming you are with coordinated people. I think you're better off doing a bunch of Mythics first for the quick burst of gear, and then heading into the raid once you begin to fail on the higher level keystones. That basically means you'll have a little bit of Mythic Plus gear helping you out when you go into the raid. Then once you've cleared as much as you think you can in the raid, go back to the Mythics and see if you can bump up your keystone level once or twice. Now, do note that the Mythic Plus gear has a base cap of item level 850 for every single keystone level during the first week of raiding. After that first week, that base item level cap will lift, and then the item level rewards are as is described in my Mythic Plus Explained video. So doing these steps will get you pretty much as high up the gear ladder as your situation allows. There are a few other things that I should mention though. So first, keep an eye on world quests that will help you gear up. This gear can of course Warforge up, and additionally the base item level does keep roughly in pace with your own item level, so they will remain relevant for most of your gearing. Also, PvP is super relevant. PvP world quest gear is scaled off your honor level. At around rank 20, I started getting 835 and 840 gear, and this can definitely help you through your initial gearing process. Doing unranked battlegrounds and skirmishes drops a base item level of 825, however doing ranked PvP drops 840 plus, with the base item level increasing depending on your PvP rating, so it might make a great deal of sense to knock out a bunch of 3v3s if you have a group of friends to do them with. And finally, I should mention crafted gear. In patch 7.1, the Obliterum cap is being extended to 8 on a bit of crafted gear, so iLvl 855. I think this is mostly irrelevant in comparison to other gear sources, but it could be a quick way to get a high item level on an alt for really well-off players. But that's pretty much it insofar as getting above item level 40 and dealing with, the stuff that has changed now that the raids, world bosses, and Mythic Plus are actually there. Finally, and this will only be useful to some of you, but an option that is out there for helping you identify upgrades and what are the most useful and efficient ways to get upgrades in terms of what dungeons you do, things like that. A great way of doing that is the Ask Mr. Robot upgrade finder. The downside is that that does involve their premium subscription. I'm not sponsored by them. It is a thing that I have been using for years, though. It might be the case that your guild leader has a guild subscription to Ask Mr. Robot, in which case that's functionality that you might already have access to without knowing it, so it might be worth poking them there, but it can be a very, very useful tool for, at a glance, just finding out, what the sort of most efficient way of getting gear is. I do recommend you check out my Mythic Plus explained video. That will help you out if you've got any questions about how Mythic Plus itself works and the gear that it drops, but it's a decently tricky topic overall, so that's why it's kind of its own video and it required a lot more work to actually make. But that is pretty much it for this video. Good luck getting geared, good luck in the raids, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.